I will now invite Ananda to lead the guided meditation.
Thank you, Ariel, and welcome everyone, and good to see quite a few known faces, and it's always happy to see the known faces, and especially when you speak. Thank you for coming. And before we start, I think I must say, I noticed that what a difficult task this organizing these things. When Ariel had to change the dates, so she contacted me, and then I agreed to do it. From my original date was 13th October. So they are doing a great job in organizing these things. So I first thank Ariel and Sandra, SCG, that is Spiritual Education Group, who is spearheading these things. And of course, the AV team, the other volunteers, and administration staff, caretakers, all of them, much merit to them for organizing these things. So Sandra and Ariel both are here today. And having done that, may I please know whether there are any newcomers to Dhammaloka meditation? Any first-timers? Please. Good. Anyone else? 2? Anyone? Okay, 3. That's great. Excellent. So then we'll start right from the beginning. So, and what we will do is, I will speak for a few minutes, maybe 5-6 minutes, and then I will do the guided meditation. Thereafter, I will be silent probably for last 10-15 minutes. So, it's 7:35, so we will be running a little bit 5 to 10 minutes late. That is okay, Ariel, yeah? And so, let's find out. This is Buddhist meditation. Why do we meditate? I think the first thing we need to know, what is the purpose of meditation? Because we spend a fair bit of time, and as Ajahn Brahm says, doing nothing, and busy doing nothing. So, and also first, I must say, you will continue to hear what you have already heard here from Ajahn Brahm and Ajahn Brahmali. I have been around them for over 30 years here. And so it is, could be repetition of some of those things. I've been thoroughly brainwashed by them. So it is what you have already heard, you will continue to hear. So I think it is the way Buddhist practice, because repetition, if you look at the suttas, that is, everything is repeated a couple of times, at least in each sutta. So every sutta. And so why do we meditate? It is the most proximate cause of meditating is to calm our mind. That is the nearest reason, most proximate, calm our mind. So we all know when the mind is calm, we feel very happy. And rather than with an agitated mind, when our mind is calm, we feel happy. Our body will be relaxed. So body and mind will work together when the mind is calm. We will, of course, that is the nearest reason, but Buddha said, calm mind will let us see things as they are. Because through generations, we know Buddha said that we have been reborn, dying, getting born, dying, continuously for unimaginable period of time. And Buddha said in the Samyutta Nikaya, Anamataggavagga Samyutta, 20 suttas, that we can't see a beginning of this life cycle, which is called samsara. So it has been happening for an unimaginable period of time. All that time we have been accumulating a lot of defilements and also a lot of good, wholesome qualities as well. But because of this conditioned existence, over trillions of years, trillions of lifetimes, we see things differently. We see things differently because our perceptions are distorted. Buddha called them sanya vipallasa. Because of these distorted perceptions, we see happiness as suffering, permanency as impermanent, impermanence as permanent, and we take an illusory self within us. This illusory self is the problem case. So because of that, we cannot see the truth, what the Buddha discoursed to the world. We'll see that later on, what it is. So that is the reason why we meditate. And for meditation in a sutta titled Bhikkhu Sutta, actually Ajahn Brahm wrote in an article about this sutta, Samyutta Nikaya 47, sutta number 3, from memory, yes. And Buddha said, for our practice to be on the right track, there are two very important things. What are they? Right view and our virtues. So if we get those two right, if we are morally upright, and if our view is straightened, not affected by these conditioned phenomena, then we are on the right track. So one of the problems that happen in meditation is the thoughts, the unending stream of thoughts. And the reason we can see from those two factors, if we are all the time thinking about satisfying our sensual desires, going out in the world, looking for music festivals, when is the cricket match, when is the footy game, then our mind will be running towards that. So those are the taps that bring this fodder for these thoughts. These thoughts don't happen just for nothing, those are the causes. So Ajahn Brahm has said, when you sit down to meditate, everyone, I think you may recall that the Ajahn simile of 1,000-petal lotus. 1,000-petal lotus, in that simile, the lotus flower blooms when the sun comes up. And it gets energy from the sun in two ways. One is the warmth of the sun, other one is the light of the sun. So that warmth and the light energize the bud, and gradually all these petals start opening. So Ajahn Brahm equates that to the kindness is the warmth, and the kindness is the warmth, and the mindfulness is the light. There is a special announcement, I will make it straight away. Inside lights are still on in Toyota Yaris 1HKC 032. 1HKC 032. Inside lights are off, so you may want to go and switch them off. Okay, thank you. Don't feel shy or anything, but it happens. All right. So warmth, the sun's warmth, like, is our kindness, and light is our mindfulness. So when we combine these two, kindness to us and kindness to mindfulness on whatever that we are doing, especially at the time of meditation, that will help us calm our mind and get the meditation right on track. How can we be kind to us and to our mind? The best thing is, leave them as it is. Leave the mind as it is. Don't give orders. We will care for it. And that brings me to Ajah's Emperor's 3 questions. What is the best time? Now. So we will not run back to the past. And Buddha said that in the Bhaddekaratta Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya 131. And don't run back to the past. Don't bring the future here. Future is unborn. The past is dead. So stay in the present moment. That is the best time. And who is the most important, or what is the most important? The thing that is in front of me, in front of us, each individual. And when we are meditating, whatever that meditation object, whatever that comes up, so we will care for that, whatever that comes up. And what to do? Care. What is the best thing to do? And also Ajahn Brahmali says that sit as if you are a passenger on the train. And you just sit and let the world pass by. And the passing by world could be your thoughts. Could be your thoughts. So we will let them come. We will not label them. We will not analyze them. They will come and go. Just like the clouds passing on the sky. So that is what about little guidance words on meditation. So we will start. If you are already seated, please check your posture. And Buddha said, stretch your legs for half a minute if you need. And you could sit on a chair, sit on a cushion. And in Buddhist meditation, 2 ways of meditating. Sitting meditation, please come in. Sitting meditation and walking meditation. Walking meditation, sitting meditation. Sitting, you could sit on a posture. And there is no right or wrong posture, whatever that suits your body. And that when that posture is right, if possible, we'll try to maintain. But if there is any ache or pain, quietly, silently, you can change the posture. All right. Now, I will speak for probably about maybe 10 minutes. Guided meditation, could be less. And we will do what is called the body scan. And Buddha recommended this in a number of suttas. Satipatthana Suttas, Majjhima Nikaya 10, and Kayagata Sati Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 119. And these are the references, but as you come, those who are used to this Dhammaloka meditation, Ajahn Brahm always does that as well. So we'll start from this is where I am used to, but please feel free to continue any way that you are used to. I'm used to starting from the right foot. And even though there is no specific posture recommended, always Ajahn Brahm says good to have a smile on the face, so that we are starting on the right foot, happy note, happy mind. And feel the toes wriggling, and then the back foot, back of the foot, the heel, top of the foot, ankles. Just be aware, nothing else, just be aware. If there is any ache or pain, just be aware and pass through. And then if you like, you can spend a little bit more time on the areas where there is any pain or anything. And we are moving on the shin bone, along the calf muscle, along the side muscles, onto the knee, right knee, on the thigh muscles, along the thigh muscles towards the buttock. And then we are onto the left foot, toes. You can wriggle the toes and feel it, and actually I'm doing it that. And so back foot, the heel, top of the left foot, ankles, shin bone, calf muscle on the left leg, side muscles, the knee, left knee. These knees have been bearing our weights and helping us go from place to place. Thigh muscles. And now I feel the left buttock and balancing the buttocks on the cushion. And I normally move along the side of the back, left back first, going up towards the armpit, left, right side towards the armpit, and then left of the back, right side of the back, slowly, slowly, no hurry, and middle of the back, spinal cord canal, and we are coming up along the back, feeling the shoulders, right shoulder, left shoulder, stretch the shoulders. When you stretch the shoulders, you will feel relaxed. If it is not relaxing, scrunch and then let go the shoulders and back of the neck, front of the neck, ears, hair on the head, top of the head, forehead, eyebrows, eyes. Actually we are giving loving kindness to our own body. Nostrils, face. We are relaxing. When we smile, we relax those muscles. Muscles are relaxing. And down the neck, front of the neck, going down on the left side of the front, chest area, heart, on the right side, lungs, diaphragm, contents of the stomach, spleen, mesentery, liver, bowels, urinary tracts, bowels, then we will feel the relaxing body. Feel the warmth of our heart. Again, on the shoulders, going down the left arm, elbows, lower arm, and the wrist, palm, fingers, nails, on the right arm, going down, elbow, right elbow, lower arm, the wrist, fingers, palm, feel the whole body as one unit. feel the delight coming from this relaxed body. Buddha has said number of places when the body is relaxed, the mind will be relaxing. A relaxed mind will in turn relax the body. If there is any area where there is any even slight ache or pain, just get to that spot and offer loving kindness, the metta. Passing metta to oneself is a meritorious deed. This body has been looking after conventional me, the other four aspects of my personality, feeling, perception, choices, or the will and the consciousness. So grateful to the body for supporting the mind. I'm going to be silent now, probably for 10 minutes. And when we come to the end, I will ring the bell. On the third ring of the bell, you may open the eyes, and if you wish to continue to close your eyes and wait, listen to the talk, that's very good as well. So let's meditate by ourselves for about 10 minutes. One more thing, think about your coming here, your own generous act of coming here today. If there are any thoughts, one of the meditation subjects that Buddha recommended is your own generosity. How we have been generous today, yesterday, this week, last week, and coming here itself. If there are disturbing thoughts, direct your thoughts, direct your mind to your generous acts. Coming here itself is a generous act. So, with that, I will stay silent now. As there are some newcomers, new to the meditation, Don't chase the breath. Let the breath come to you. If there are thoughts, don't worry. Let them pass through. Just be aware of the breath, wherever you feel it. Wherever the sensation of the breath is felt, be aware of that sensation. That's all. Right here, right now, just the breath. We are coming to the end of the meditation. Please take a minute or so to review your meditation. What worked? What didn't? How we are feeling now? Are we a little bit more peaceful than when we started? And if so, what are the causes? They are the data coming from the meditation, which we can use for our future meditations at home, here. Yeah. So I will ring the bell now. Wait for the third ring. Welcome back to the present moment. And so please feel free to stretch your legs. Stand up if you wish.
Thank you, Ananda. Before the talk, I will give a more detailed introduction to our speaker tonight. As you can see, he has been a dedicated Buddhist scholar. He was born in Sri Lanka into a Buddhist family, and he frequented the village temple with his father from a very young age. Yet he came to practice meditation only after meeting the then Ajahn Jagaro and Ajahn Brahm around 1987. He has been meditating for about 25 years and considers Ajahn Brahm, Ajahn Brahmali and Bhante Sujato as his spiritual teachers and guides. He and his family started visiting Bodhiana and Dhammaloka regularly in 1991, and he served as the committee member of the Buddhist Society in 1996 and as treasurer in 2010, and more recently as secretary in 2022. He has also contributed to the Buddhist communities overseas in various ways, and is a student of early Buddhist texts from the Tripitaka, relying mostly on Bhante Sujato's English translations on the suttacentral.com. Also, Dhammaloka Sutta classes and Sutta retreats at Jana Grove are a staple. He gratefully acknowledges the support received from his family, who go to great lengths to help support his practice. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you very much, Ariel. Thank you very much for that nice introduction. And then we will start the talk. And you all have selected a very nice theme for this year's rains. I think Sandra and SCG and all of you together, I guess you came up with this. So when we say turning points is the theme, I think. Turning points. So where did we turn from to get where we are here now? I think that's the way I'm going to look at this talk. So we are here right here now because this is the 50th year of our Buddhist society here. And so to turn things, it has to turn either from a place or from a time, somewhere back. So let's see how did we get here? It's the Buddhist society, so there are two things. One is Buddhist, other one is society. So how did the word Buddhist come about? It's because of the starting point we have to say when the young Prince Siddhartha was born 2612 years ago in a place called Lumbini in the middle land of India. So that is the point from where all these things started to turn in our favor. We are very fortunate here because we have these centers, we have fantastic Sangha, both male and female. So they are guiding us. So how did we get here? And the next turning point is this Prince Siddhartha, who was born into a royal family in Kapilavastu, Sakyan clan, and his father wanted him to, the soothsayers said either he will become an all-conquering emperor, a righteous king, or Samma Sambuddha, that is the fully perfected enlightened being. Because there were no enlightened beings at that time, but various religious teachers were claiming themselves to be enlightened beings, but people knew that there was really no enlightened being in the world. Dhamma was non-existent. But the awareness of the need to end suffering has been there in India at that time. That is why it is called the right place, Jambudipa in Pali, name of India at that time. So that is the luxury place. And but for our good fortune, things started to turn. One day when this young prince went out, he saw a man walking with very difficulty. So he asked his charioteer, "What is wrong with that man?" So the charioteer said, "Sir, he is unwell." Unwell? What do you mean by unwell? This young prince did not know. So he started thinking, am I going to be sick? Charioteer said, of course, you will fall sick. Following day he saw an old man. Why he is walking so slowly? He has become old. I don't think I'll become old. No, charioteer said, no sir, you will be old one day. And then he saw following day, maybe after a few days, a dead person, people carrying on a bier, a coffin. He was shocked, never knew, because his previous life was in the Tusita heaven, Tusita Devaloka, heavenly abode, and millions of years in that place. And he was so disappointed that the life is not going to be like this. Fortunately, he saw a hermit, an ascetic, who has given up the lay life, and then he saw this very peaceful person, not sure whether male or female, whatever it is, he saw this. He asked, who is that person? Looks very peaceful. Then the charioteer, name is Channa actually, his name was Channa. He became an arahant. Later on he became part of the Buddha's retinue, and he explained. Then Prince Siddhartha thought, that's the way I want to be. I don't want to suffer. Strictly the penny dropped. And he left that very luxury life in the palace. And he had a wife, few weeks old son. He thought, no, I can't be saddled with these obligations. He was 29 years and he left. Of course, he practiced with the teachers who were considered to be good spiritual teachers at that time in India. They were mostly on ascetic practices, going into self-mortification. He practiced all that. In a sutta title, subsequently when he became the Buddha, he gave all the, I will come to that later, in a sutta title, Mahasihanada Sutta. This is from memory, Majjhima Nikaya 12, number 12. And he said, there is no one on this earth who has ever mortified the body like me, and feel really sorry what he has gone through. It's in very detail in that sutta. Tears come to your eyes because the boys who have been looking after, he was lying down. Even as the Buddha, he had back pains. It was as a result of that ascetic practices. He has been lying on a rock at 12 o'clock in the summer 12 o'clock midnight, looking up with very little clothes. And he has stopped eating only a very little bit of lentil soup a day. And these boys who have been looking after cowherds have been urinating in his mouth and throwing stones into his mouth. So that is the level of suffering he has gone through to find this truth. But it didn't work. Because he has been practicing this for some time and previous lives, there is a sutta called Gatikara Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 81, and in that sutta, Buddha tells us about one of his previous lives under the previous Buddha Kassapa. There have been Buddhas in the past, so many Buddhas, and the Buddha previous to our Buddha, that is Gautama Buddha, is named Kassapa. And under that Buddha, he has been practicing as a monk as well. His name was Gatikara. And so he has been practicing, and then when he was a very young boy, he has practiced meditation under the rose apple tree, and he got into jhana. You know what Ajahn Brahm is teaching us, jhana, that is the highest level of samadhi, highest level of meditation attainment. And then he thought, my goodness, this is the way, not to crucify the body, not to mortify the body, not to inflict some suffering on this body. That is the happy way, that is the peaceful path. So he gave up all these ascetic practices, not all these ascetic practices, self-mortification. He started eating. There were 5 monks who were looking after him, but he thought this hermit has given up. He has started to eat. So he left him. But next turning point, he attained the Buddhahood. About 2560 odd years ago, under the Bodhi tree, he found the truth. And he found the truth, but he thought this truth is so sublime, people are into sensuality, the world is filled with sensual pleasures, they'll find it difficult to understand. The suffering, people will find it difficult to fathom that actually this existence is suffering, that actually there is no self, that these are impermanent conditioned things, that these are leading to suffering, and there is no self, there is no essence, there is no controlling effect, entityness. So he thought, I will chill out. That's what Ajahn Brahmali says. Buddha thought, I will just chill out my time. Then one of his previous associates in a previous life, he was in a very high divine heavenly realm, and Sahampati, Brahma, he came and said, sir, please teach. There are people with less dust in the eyes. So he thought he will start teaching. And then he started to find where these 5 ascetics, and thought he will teach them. And he walked from Buddha Gaya to Varanasi now it is called, Migadaya, Isipatana. He walked over 300 kilometers. There wouldn't have been roads. He could have gone by psychic powers, but he walked. And then he gave the Dhamma talk, first Dhamma talk to those 5 ascetics, and first sutta was spoken by Buddha at Migadaya to these 5 ascetics. It is titled Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. He bestowed on the world the 4 noble truths and the noble eightfold path. That's the next turning point. So we have been taking the world, when I say world, these are the turning points that we started, and then we have been coming through. The Buddhism came to Sri Lanka about 2000 years ago, great Arahan Mahinda Mahathero, and behind him. And one more thing, very important thing, the introduction of the Bhikkhuni ordination, Mahaprajapati Gautami. It's the opening the door for the females. At that time, during Buddha's time, Buddha himself established the Bhikkhuni ordination. So, these are the turning points. Things have been turning in our favor. So, and then from Sri Lanka, Buddhism spread to other parts of the world. And in Perth, around 1982, as I understand, a group formed themselves into this Buddhist society. And after a short while, they thought they need to get a good monk. Actually, I think one of the ladies, as far as I know, there is only one member from that group, still surviving, still living, and that person is here. I met that person today, and I don't have permission to mention her name, so please don't ask. And she said they went, about 5 or 6 people went to Thailand, and they have visited a number of monasteries, and only Ajahn Chah promised to send a monk to Perth, she said. And they were very surprised when they went to the airport to meet Ajahn Jagaro and another monk called Venerable Puriso. They were the 2 monks who came here first to help the Buddhist society. And because Ajahn Jagaro was already the head monk at Ajahn Watpa Nanachat, and they were very happy to see him. And second monk was Venerable Puriso, an Australian monk. And it turned again. Venerable Puriso, for whatever the reasons, after a short while, went back to Thailand. Who was the replacement? Anyone knows? Our own Ajahn Brahm. That's the turning point. That's the turning point for of us. And I met the person who went to meet Ajahn Brahm when he first came. I met him at one of the retreats, one of Ajahn's retreats. His name is John. He said he lives in Manjura now. And he said he was so happy to see Ajahn. He said he waited. And he said Ajahn was the last to disembark. Because he has waited and given time everyone else to leave the plane, and he was the last to come. He said he thought at that time we are going to be in good hands. And we have been truly in good hands. And he has guided us. He has changed our lives. He has changed the way that all these things, I think, they are the outcomes. So that is the turning point. Now, things have turned in our favor. Let's see how we can turn these turning points into bonus points for our own benefit. Though things are there, if you are not making use of them, what's the purpose? So, let's see how we can use them for our own benefit. The benefit is purpose of Buddhism is to achieve happiness, end suffering. And Buddha said in that sutta, what he gave, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, that whole existence is suffering. Rebirth is suffering. Jati, Jara, Marana. Old age is suffering. Death is suffering. Not getting what you want is suffering. Joining those who you don't like. Piyehi vipayogo. Appyehi sampayogo. That is not meeting what you like. They are all suffering, he said in short. These 5 aggregates, what he called a person, 5 aggregates. He split the person into 5 components, and 5 aggregates, upadana, kanda, and Panchaskandha. These are the things that is these 5 aggregates form, that is the physical body, feelings, Vedana, perception, Sanya, and Sankhara, choices or will, and the consciousness, which is the Vijnana. These are the 5 components that we take as self. There is no self. These are conditioned phenomena that is changing all the time. So, Buddha said how we can, in that sutta, he gave the Noble Eightfold Path and said by following the Noble Eightfold Path, we can end the suffering. And the suffering attached to this 5 components. These 5 components. So, on that path, it is an eightfold path. On that path, the 5 components are, there are a number of suttas, so many suttas that describe these 5 components. And it is our, Buddha's words are Chandaraga, lust and desire. Lust and desire, we hold these things as ours. We own, we beautify our body. We think my thoughts are the best thoughts. We thought the way I see is the only way. We thought my intentions are they are all mine, because we have been conditioned to consider all these things as my own. So Buddha said there is nothing called I, mine or myself. So that is what we are trying to, through this path. It's sometimes difficult to accept. It's challenging. It's very, sometimes would be going against the grain. And we sometimes don't want to see the truth. But Buddha said, if you can meditate and get to the samadhi, then you can see the truth and end the suffering. And when we meditate, we get this unending stream of thoughts. What is the cause of those thoughts? Buddha said, nivarana or hindrances. There are 5 hindrances. These are the problems that are binding us to this samsara, going from one life to another. What are the 5 hindrances? Sensual desire, ill will, dullness and drowsiness, restless and remorselessness, and the doubt. These 5 things, Buddha said, because of these 5 things, we are going around in this samsara, and if we can pacify these 5 things, then we would be making an effort to end our suffering. On those 5 hindrances, Buddha said they are all nourished by different nutriments. Buddha called them ahara, the food or nutriments. On kamachanda means sensual desire. Sensual desire is always, we are looking at the beauty, sign of beauty. Because we are looking at, from the point of view of looking at beauty of everything, we are getting attached to the sensual world. The sight seen by the eyes, sounds heard by the ears, taste tasted by the tongue, smells through the nose, touches by the body, and the thoughts of the mind. So these 6 mind we can leave for the moment, 5 sensual feelings, fortify, increase, and bind us to this sansara. So that is where the problem is. So we have to, our effort has to be minimize the veracity of these hindrances. And for a lay person, Buddha said, best way is to practice the 5 precepts. Simple 5 precepts. And in the sutta titled Panchaverabbhaya Sutta, again in the Samyutta Nikaya, he said, someone who is practicing the 5 precepts, we don't need to go too far. The 5 precepts, I think all of us know the 5 precepts. Not killing any living beings, not stealing, refraining from sexual misconduct, not lying, and not drinking alcohol or drugs that affect the mind. So he said, if these 5 precepts are practiced properly, that will open the path. So that is the way to freedom, salvation, nibbana. 5 precepts, we should not underestimate the value of 5 precepts. In another sutta, Buddha said, the heavenly beings, those who are keeping the 5 precepts, and those who use their wealth for the benefit of others. In other words, the generosity. Devas are the deities, heavenly beings, look after you. Simply the 5 precepts. Simply the 5 precepts. These 5 precepts, if you maintain them, the 5 precepts, in that same sutta, I think, Buddha said, if you maintain the 5 precepts uninterrupted, and then you have the confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, then that is, you are almost there at the first level of sainthood, which is called the stream entry. So that's not difficult. It's not difficult. That is the 5 precepts that we have to practice. And of course, we may not have been able to practice all 5 precepts due to whatever the reason. And in every sutta, what the Buddha says is, they stop killing. He never said they have never been killing. In every sutta, they stop killing. They stop stealing. They stop sexual misconduct. They stopped lying. They stopped alcoholic drink. I still remember the time and the date that I last broke a precept. It was on around 4 o'clock on 24th December 1994. I thought, this is my last drink. That's it. So, and we have not been born saints. And so we have made mistakes. But the important thing is, have to realize it and then make a commitment that we shall continue in the right path. And there is a very nice sutta, how to dilute past bad deeds, how to eliminate past bad deeds. Number of sutta like that Buddha has discoursed. This is called the Lonaka Palla Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya book 3, number 100. Number 100. And Buddha says, and he gives a very nice simile. Lonaka Palla means the salt crystal. He says that if you dissolve a salt crystal in a small glass of water, large salt crystal, the water will be still salty. You can't drink. But if you, same salt crystal, if you dissolve in a bucket of, he used the word Ganges river, but even in a bucket of water, that saltiness will be gone. Salt crystals, simile symbolizes the bad deeds. Bucket of water is a lot of good deed. If we continue to a lot of good deeds, we are diluting those, just the way that we are diluting the salt. We are diluting and getting rid of it. And he gave a very nice another explanation on this sutta. Nothing has changed from that time. He said, this will be only for those who have doing some sort of practice but broke some precepts on the way. He said, for those who have a developed body, developed mind, bahula kaya, bahula chitto, develops sila, develops virtue, and bahula panyaya, develop wisdom. So those four things, if we have been practicing to develop those four things, Sutta number is Anguttara Nikaya, book 3, number 100, and because those are capable people, he gave a very nice simile to explain this point. He said, if someone steals large amount of money even, gold that time, or cows, and if he has contact, if he is a powerful person in that society, he said he will escape. No prison. Nothing has changed, has it? If he has contacts, he will not go to. He said in the same way. Then he said, if someone, poor person, steals a loaf of bread, no contacts, nothing, the king will put him in the jail. Nothing has changed, has it? Nothing has changed all these 2,600 years. And he said, similarly, if someone who has the powers of these four things, develop body, that means develop body means we are not being slave to just the pleasant feelings. We know that they are impermanent, they are suffering, they are non-self. They are not being attached to, we are not being attached to the body. We are not being attached to the pleasant feelings arising out of the body. So that is what is meant by the developed body. Developed mind is that we have samadhi, that we have developed our samatha meditation. We have looked at vipassana through our samatha meditation. Vipassana is that part of developed body. Samatha is the developed mind, develops virtue. Our sila is unbroken, it is pure, and it is, we are helping others through our wealth. And develop panya is, we are seeing things as they are. At least we are seeing and we are making an effort to see things as they are. So if we are practicing like that, don't worry at all. Buddha gives the guarantee that nothing to worry. He says in another sutta called Bhaya-Virya Sutta, fear and dread, don't panic. Don't panic. Openings are there. A number of sutta like this, where Buddha gives this guarantee. In a sutta, another sutta, he says, last paragraph on the Alagaddupan Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 22, and he says, if you have just the Pema-mattang, Saddha-mattang, Pema-mattang, if you just have the faith in me, that is the Buddha, if you just have the faith in me, if you just have the love for me, you will not go to a bad place after death. Going up to heavenly places. So these are guarantees from the Buddha for our practice, and these are the things that we have to look at. And when we talk about 5 precepts, Buddha gave another absolutely fantastic. I'm saying every sutta is fantastic. And one of the other turning points which I missed was Bhante Sujaso's Sutta Central. You know, it's a huge turning point for us. They are all there in English, in Sinhalese, in Pali, in Portuguese, in Malaysian, in whatever the language, 30 odd languages. So we can read these sutta, we can understand for ourselves. We don't have to go anywhere. Suttacentral.net, that's all you need to know. Sutta. All my knowledge, I started reading Sutta 10 years ago, that's all. Probably 12 years ago. Bhante Sujato is the one who put me on to suttas. At his first ever weekend retreat at Jhana Grove. And I was sitting right at the back at Jhana Grove, right back wall. And I said, Bhante, I knew him as young Venerable Sujato here. He was here at Bodhinyana. So I asked him, is it necessary to read sutta? He said, Ananda, you will get closer to the Buddha. It was fantastically truthful statement. Because Buddha himself said to Vakkali, Venerable Vakkali, Yo dhammang passati somang passati. That is, one who sees the Dhamma sees me. So, by reading suttas, we see the Buddha. By seeing the Buddha, we see the Dhamma. So, in that sutta, I said fantastic sutta, Velama Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya, book 9, number is 20. Buddha says that he was a very, very, very absolutely fantastically rich Brahmin in a previous life. And he said what and what things this Brahmin has donated. And he has donated unbelievably an ocean of things. I think I printed that little bit, but I'm running short of time. And I wouldn't read that book, Anguttara Nikaya, book 9, Sutta 20. When you read it, he has been giving, donating unbelievable things. And Buddha said, then having discoursed on that, then he said, I'm coming to this, how important 5 precepts. Then he said, number is last number. First one is 84,000 gold bowls filled with silver. Then he gave 84,000 chariots and 84,000 horses, 84,000 elephants. Last item was 8,400,000 items of food and various things. Then Buddha said, if someone is giving one thing to just to one stream enterer, that is much more merit than giving to that. Giving all those billions of things just to one stream enterer. Then he said, it is much more merit giving to once returner, that is Sakudagami, than giving to 100 stream enterers. So like that he went up. Giving to non-returner, giving to an Arahan, giving to a Buddha, giving to a Pacheka Buddha, that is the Buddha who will not teach. There is another type of Buddha, no time to go into detail. And then he went and up. Then last one, the highest merit is by practicing the perception of impermanence. He said if someone can practice perception of impermanence, even for the time that it takes to pull a cow's udder. I can see you are smiling that you have read that. So, even for the time that it takes to pull a cow's udder away, for a very short period, that is very high merit. Then the one next below that is, if you can practice metta meditation, just for that time. For snapping your fingers, metta meditation, much, much higher than giving all that. Guess what the third thing is? Practicing 5 precepts. So he said, Buddha said, if you are practicing 5 precepts, the simple, humble, no cholesterol, 5 precepts. Don't have to worry. Just the 5 precepts. Just being here and now. So that is the power of 5 precepts. Practicing 5 precepts will look after us. And I mentioned about the divine beings, and Buddha also told us that there are 31 worlds that where sentient beings can be reborn into. And then he said, out of these 31, 4 are very high. They are called arupa, which is formless planes, very high. Unbelievable time you will spend there if you, those are the arupa jhana. And then 11 are on the sensual plane, that is our 15, and 16 are called rupa world, that is the form planes. They are the higher deva world. Out of the 11, 4 are bad destinations. 4 are bad destinations: hell, animal realm, ghost realm, and the asuras, titans. Those are the very bad realms. We don't want to know about those things. Better not to know. There are suttas that explains, but I deliberately said only once, didn't go there. Every sutta I have read 4-5 times, but that one only once. I don't want to know. I'm saying good to know. There is a thing like that. So we can stay away from them, but we don't have to harp on them. Ajahn Ram teaches the happiness. It's the happy path. And then, out of those 11, 4 are bad, 7 are good. One good place is human world. And the other 6 are heavenly world. But you don't need jhana to go to those 6 heavenly worlds. Buddha was in one of those worlds before he came to the human world. So, Buddha also gave a blueprint how to plan your rebirth. Now, we are all concerned, where would we go? But he gave a very clear guidance. It is in a sutta called Rebirth by Intention. That is, Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation is that name. Bhante Sujato's translation word is that name. The sutta is called Sankaruppapati Sutta. Majjhima Nikaya 120. Majjhima Nikaya 120, Sankaruppapati Sutta. Buddha gave 5 things to practice. In fact, I picked 5 groups of 5 things today. Those are the 5 bonus points. And this is the biggest bonus point. And of course, we are practicing to end our suffering, practicing to gain freedom, practicing to attain Nibbana, but it's always good to have the plan B. In case, not being attached, but have the second plan. Sideline. And halfway house. From after practicing with Buddha Kassapa, we don't know where our Buddha went, but his one before the last life was in a Deva realm. Deva realm means deities, the divine abodes, a heavenly realm he was in. So it's good to go there. They are good places. We can practice Buddhism. We can practice the path. And Buddha has given in number of sutta, there are in those heavenly realms, heavenly worlds, other deities called Brahmas. They come and give you Dhamma talks. So don't fear to go to these heavenly realms. 5 things to practice: Saddha, Sila, Sutta. I'm telling in Pali, I will give the translation, sorry. Saddha, Sila, Sutta, Chaga, Panya. Saddha is the confidence and the faith. Faith and the confidence in Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. We have that, otherwise we wouldn't be here. We know Buddha is the perfectly enlightened. And we know the Dhamma is well spoken by the Buddha. We know that by following that path we can end all our suffering. We know that there are Arya Sangha, noble disciples, they are in our midst. We don't have to go too far. The gold mine is here in Western Australia. Where is it? Serpentine, Dhammasara, Bodhinyana Dhammasara. We don't have to go to coal mines to look for gold. But unfortunately, we keep going to coal mines to find gold and we get lost. They are right here. We don't have to go anywhere. So, and Saddha, Sila, our virtue. If we maintain our 5 precepts, that box is ticked. Saddha, Sila, that is confidence, and the virtue box is ticked by maintaining our 5 precepts unbroken. And then Saddha, Sila, Sutta. Sutta is learning. Sutta Central is there. You don't have to go anywhere. You can come here on Saturdays, Sutta class, meditation. Tomorrow Ajahn Ram is coming at 3 o'clock, I think. 3 o'clock. And 3 o'clock, thanks Sandra. And thanks Ariel. And so, Sutta, learning and practicing, that is Sutta. Learning, Saddha, Sila, Sutta, Chaga. One of the 4 ways of letting go in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, generosity. So we have to help those in need. People are dying. Children are finding it difficult to go to schools. This world is shrouded in darkness. This world is full of poverty. There are monasteries, poor monasteries. Monks and nuns can't practice because after COVID especially. So practice generosity. If you get opportunities, don't give it up. Take it with both hands. And then Panya, develop the wisdom. Buddha says, what is the wisdom? Firstly, knowing the 4 noble truths. Just the intellectually knowing it. And then practicing meditation. Buddha said we have to see from ourselves. How do we see from within ourselves? Meditation, samatha meditation, and then samadhi. Even if we don't get to jhana stages, when the mind is clear, when you come out of it, we can see the truth. We can see that there is nothing here. We see it. It's nothing magical. We see it, the body has disappeared. 1 hour meditation time has passed. You think half an hour time has passed. So that is, okay, Panya, I'm running out of time. So I'm getting the message now and running out of time. So what we will do is, those are the 5 groups of 5 points. I will just summarize it very quickly. Last one I mentioned was how to plan your rebirth, 5 factors. And then before that we talked about Nivarana, Pancha Nivarana, 5 hindrances. We talked about 5 precepts, again 5. We talked about 5 hindrances, 5 precepts, 5 factors, 5 aggregates, 5 components, physical components. And then one I didn't touch was, anyway indirectly I have touched, 5 benefits of giving. 5 benefits of offering, dana, giving. Buddha said, anyone who is offering, it's a little bit longer, but I'll quickly say that, ayuvan, long life, beauty, ayuvan, bala, strength, ayuvan, bala, sukha, sorry, I'll repeat again. Long life, correct me if I miss it. Long life, beauty, strength, sukha, happiness, and patibano, that is eloquence. So if you want to give a Dhamma talk next time, know what to do. Okay, give until we hurt. That's the way to give. And in the Dhammapada, Buddha said, if you are practicing stanza 118, keep it doing and doing and doing. And also in the Dhammapada, I meant to say, there is another stanza, number 173, that what it says is, someone who has been doing bad deeds, when he stops those bad deeds, he illuminates this world in the same way that the full moon freed from the clouds. Fantastic stanza. Yassa papassa akalanang kusalanang pidiyati, kusalassa pidiyati, So imang lokang pabasseti abba mutto chandima. With that, I end my Dhamma talk, and I hope this will be of use to you. And if you need, we can open up for questions. Please feel free to ask any question relating to Dhamma, any question relating to today's Dhamma talk. Happy to answer, happy to give you the names of suttas or numbers, anyone wanting. And please feel free to ask questions. Can be on any topic, anything on meditation, anything on... There is a mic coming up, so please feel free to ask any question or comment. If you have any comment also, please feel free.
Sandra has a question,
Sandra.
I think.
Are there any questions?
Yes, there's a question
Ask
at the
your
back.
questions first, and I'll tell you about the.
Okay. And Buddha said, if you want to be intelligent next life, you got to ask questions. That's in Chula Kamma Vibhanga Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 135.
I was just wondering about the meditation and the word contemplation. I think meditation, when a thought does come up, we're trying to stop it, or actually dealing with one thing from the start to finish, and cultivating that for the future. I just think that meditation is contemplation, yes, and cultivating, sustaining your attention on a fixed point, and meditation is a tool, and not for our own happiness, but for others. And when we go the way of others, they're not surprised. It helps ourselves. It's just there's some hindrances out there, and it's very hard to put a finger on the absolute or relative.
Okay. I get the gist, and it is meditation is there is contemplation part of meditation, but that is when we finish meditation, when our mind is calm. Buddha gave what is called anusati bhavana, 5 types.
Because if a thought comes up, sometimes suppression, if we push it, it'll come up somewhere else, and then that will never stop. And our intention for meditation would be for something to stop, possibly.
Oh, yeah. No, that's all right. And the thoughts come up. That's natural, because we are conditioned to think.
Because there's a balance, I believe, between thinking it through and getting stuck and taking the bait, and also taking the bait as in, I don't want to know, meaning we can't go this way, we can't go that way.
Okay. The taking the bait, that is what we are used to, taking the bait. So we have been eating the bait, and there is a sutta called bait, Nivapata Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya.
I guess my point is, I think that if something comes up, sometimes there is a time for it to stop something, there's a time to... meditation isn't ignorance, and I believe there should be more contemplation in there than what the word meditation insinuates.
True. Yep. No, that's fine. That you can contemplate. You can contemplate within meditation, but preferably after. And we can go to the next question.
It's not an easy thing, but it's not an easy thing either.
It is not an easy thing, I agree.
But it is an easy thing.
It is a simple thing, but not an easy thing. It is a simple thing, but not an easy thing. You're right. Okay, thank you. Thanks for that question.
It's a really interesting question that you asked, because I'll just come to the front so I can tell you all this thing at the same time. Sit next to Ananda. I actually gave a talk on Tuesday night to the Armadale group, grappling with, faith and reason. And, what do you have faith in? And where does reason play a part? And I think we can get ourselves awfully carried away trying to reason, like with an incessant mind.
We cannot reason
And
unless we know the self.
Exactly, but the thing is, I think what happens is that we reason to such an extent that we end up reinforcing the self, and then we get horribly confused. So what I've found is that when you can drop below that reasoning and just have faith in the heart space and the depth within it, becomes a bit easier. Easier said than done, but easier. But what I wanted to tell you about was, so BSWA are taking part in the 56 hours of meditation in support of the voice referendum. And what it is all of the faith groups are coming together this weekend. So there was a lovely ceremony at Wesley Church, I think today. I sat here for 56 minutes by myself this morning, but I just wanted to let you know that what we're trying to do is engender a spirit of compassion and healing for the voice, not necessarily to push a particular position, but to offer our support. And I can tell you, it's a powerful thing to sit in silence for 56 minutes, particularly in this Dharma hall. I think it's one of the strongest things you can do. So, if you're up for it, tomorrow, 10 to 11, Prem will be here, and you can come and sit with Prem in support. 12 to 1 will be Gita.
You said it was not in support or not in the support too.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let me get my words right. I have learnt from social media that this is very important. So, by support, I mean offering that healing and compassion. That's what I mean. 3 to 3:56, Ajahn Brahm will be here. He will sit in silent meditation. There will be no talk, no Q&A. It will be live streamed. Same as the monks did this morning. Sunday, same drill, 10 to 11, I'll be here. 11 to 12, Takashi. 12 to 1, Gita. 3 to 4, Venerable Hugh Khan will come and visit us. She's amazing. You would have seen her last Friday night. She's the abbess of Sanyata Zen Meditation Center, or Tien, I think is how you say it in Vietnamese. So please come and join us. Sit in compassion, sit in healing. Thank you. Oh, you got a mic, I got a mic. We're all set. And I think we're at
okay, that's good.
Sharing merits.
Thank you. Yep, we are. Yes, I think we share the merits of today's Dhamma talk with everyone who has helped run these programs here at Buddhist Society. Of course, Ariel is here and Sandra is here, Bill, everyone is here, AV team, all of them, we share the merits with all of them. And we share the merits with Devas, all divine beings. We share the merits with all our departed relatives. Actually, it was my grandfather who took me to the temple, in the village temple, and he has helped me in very many ways. So I think of all of them, and all our teachers, or every beings everywhere. We say, may all beings be happy, may all beings be peaceful, may all beings attain Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
May we also raise 3 sadhus for Ananda. Thank you so much for accommodating our schedule. Thank you for the illuminating talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you, very much. Thank you.
Sadhu.
Sadhu. Sadhu. We are Ajahn Brahm's disciples.